Being on record and having the big deal, the big record deal, that's a long time though. Why do you think you survived 15 years through all the various musical changes, not necessarily for you, but just the times of the music business?
It depends on who you ask. If you ask Eddie, he'll probably give you one answer, and I'll give you another.
Okay.
But
well,
I think one of the things that makes this band click, I think, is that even though the four of us are they have a lot of similarities, there are a lot of differences too. Some of the stuff Ed listens to, I can't stand.
Oh yeah, like what? Tell me.
Well, it gets too technical. Ed likes to listen to Halen Holdsworth and the real guitarist type guys. You know, really don't have a clue about how to put a song together, but what they play is really interesting. Hi, Alan. I'm sorry.
Okay. So your turn.
I'm exaggerating, but the point is we have different tastes, and when we get together, it just kind of melds as one, and I think that's what makes the sound unique. You know,
I think it really is more that what we do, it's rock and roll, but it comes from the heart. You know, it's really a soulful kind of thing. I mean, it's our lives. You know, we play music. It's all we do. It's like we'll be on the road for 10 months and come home and go, I need a break. After a week and a half, Al and I are calling each other going, come on, man, we got to play. Because it's the only thing we know how to do, or the only thing we like to do. And I think that's really the root of it, you know?
Talk about the high points and low points of the run, the Van Halen run.
I don't think there's any low points, really. Without getting too spiritual or philosophical, you know, everything happens for a reason, more or less. And I think if you don't have the bad things that happen, or the things that that didn't quite happen as planned, then you don't learn anything. You know, then you just more or less, well, you do your little thing, and that's that.
So did your parents raise you to think like that, or did you guys develop this?
No, my mom wanted us to be...
She was the authoritarian. She was the authority, you know? Do this, do that, do this. Our dad was a musician, you know? He says, hey, come on, you know, let's go play.
Just did ever.
And I think Ed and I got the vibe really early on in life, you know, 4 or 5 years old. And he would take us along the clubs, and you get the feel of what music is really all about. It's not as sterile as,
we had to put
let's
on
make
fake
a video.
mustaches like this.
Ed, we were 5 years old. Anyways, and in Holland, they're a little bit more lenient about carding at the thing. But it showed us more the human aspect of what music's all about.
So when you were little, did you guys ever play with your dad? You know, just like around the house, in the garage or whatever?
There was a place on Cahuenga Boulevard called Continental Club. I think it's still there.
Yeah.
And it used to be a jazz club, and my dad had a band called the Rhythmaires.
The Rhythmaires.
Yeah, and every now and then the drummer couldn't make it, and Al would sit in for the guy. And Al had long, bushy hair, you know, almost like a fro kind of deal. And he would slick his hair back with Vitalis or whatever you put in it.
That's no good.
And no, he was like, well, how old were you? 14 years old?
My first paying gig was I was 13.
Yeah, 13.
Wow.
And it was a great way.
It was hilarious.
To start.
But he played great. It was totally happening.
See, but since your father was in the business, I guess that's why you guys are so, you know, you came in, you said hello to everybody, very down to earth, and I guess from an early age you realize that, yeah, it's a great profession, but it's work, and I appreciate my work, but it's a job. You know, Dad went to work, he played a gig, and he came home.
And I think it's the anomaly, if you want to call it, of this rock and roll super group status that people sometimes achieve that's kind of misleading, because it is one-on-one. If it wasn't for the record companies and if it wasn't for multimedia, you would literally be going from city to city to play every night, different places. There just wouldn't be as many people. I think we're fortunate that we have this avenue through records to have more people be able to hear what we think is really great music. And
now you're doing your first live album.
Yeah.
When did you decide to do that, and whose idea was it?
Kind of, it's like this. It was his idea. No, he did it.
No, it just kind of happened. It started off near the end of the tour. We did a Westwood One radio broadcast, and Alex and I and our live engineer mixed it, and
did a pretty good job on it.
Yeah, we were quite happy with it, and so we said, hey, why don't we dig back to some old tapes and see how the stuff sounds? And the stuff sounded great, so we said, hey, let's do a live record.
You guys really compliment each other, and in terms of, I mean, actually giving compliments to the other one. Do you ever fight? I mean, you're brothers, come on.
Oh, we fight.
It doesn't get out of hand because the bottom line is, I think if it really really went to the point where we're trying to kill each other, so to speak, we'd both be on the floor. Because neither one's going to give up.
Well, but I mean, you know, I don't mean literally, you know, fist fights necessarily.
Oh, well, that's what I thought you were talking about.
But hey, we can talk about those.
They happen.
See,
But what's really funny is like when we argue,
You got to pull your punches.
basically,
Hey.
it's basically
About
venting.
the same thing.
Yeah, we're basically venting frustration about, oh, why did this happen? Well, I don't know. Why did this? You know, we're both basically yelling at each other like a mirror kind of thing.
When Extreme Close-Up returns, the other half of the Van Halen band talks. And a little later, we'll have an exclusive look at some rehearsal footage. But in order to really get to know Van Halen, we decided to break it up and start out with the brothers. Few rock guitarists are regarded as highly as Eddie, and older brother Alex provides the driving drum beat that fuels the music. Make no mistake, though, Van Halen is not divided among family lines. You know what I find interesting is that you guys really put forth an effort to make sure that everyone knows there are 4 guys, you know, 4 members.
The four-headed monster. Yeah.
There you go. You know, it's not just one. Why is that important to you, to make sure that it's...
Because there's 4 people in this band, and we equally do what it takes to make it happen.
Take anyone away and it would be different.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, it just wouldn't be the same. I think Ed and I grew up on the Beatles, you know, and I found it fascinating how Ringo Starr was
Got all the girls.
Yeah, right.
That was the incentive,
And he makes a
you know?
living
Hey, check
hitting
this
things
out.
with his stick.
No, I found it really fascinating how they were equal. You know, some people, let's face it, are born with gifts. You know, they have talent. They have something. I don't know what it is. I could never write music like Ed, you know, or sing like Sammy.
No,
But-
wait a minute.
Well, you never know.
You just played me in your car was pretty damn happening.
You understand what I'm getting at, though. Seeing 4 guys on equal ground was really it impressed us, I think. And
We don't
you always
step-
want to emulate people who you admire. You know, so
We really don't step on each other's toes. You know, everybody takes care of their own little thing, and then when you take the big stick and stir it up, it becomes Van Halen.
Right, right.
it's also, I think, a matter of mutual respect. You know, as human beings first, then
Well, it's
musicians.
like I wouldn't touch the drums, you know, just like Al wouldn't play guitar.
But you guys used
Well,
to.
yeah, but that's why we swapped.
So, you know, you gotta tell me the story, how that happened. See, because at
Okay,
one point...
we came here when I was 6 years old, and we were being trained to be classical pianists and that kind of deal. We got into Dave Clark 5 and the Beatles, and when I was 12, I think. And Alex stopped playing piano and my mom got him into playing flamenco guitar. And I was into drums,
believe that?
so I bought a drum kit, and I had a paper route to pay for the kit. It cost like 125 bucks or something like that. And while I was out throwing the papers, Al played the drums, and he got better than me.
That
Said,
you off?
okay.
Oops, I can't say that. Did that make you mad?
I was a little uptight about it, but once I found out that I was actually better at the guitar than on drums, and that Al was better on drums than guitar, it worked.
And
Well, it didn't take a genius to see what Ed could do with a guitar. When I
And it
played
didn't take a genius to see what Al could do with drums. Because actually, it hit me like, oh, God, he can play Wipeout and I can't.
now you guys make the other guys, Sammy and Michael, feel like brothers as well, don't you?
Well, we've known Mike for about 18 years. You know, it's kind of, again, it's a human relationship first, then the music. You know, if you're together for a reason and you're trying to get something out of it, you know, I love you because you're a great singer, yeah. And the moment he hits a clam, or he's not doing so well, you say, yeah, get somebody else. And then it doesn't work. You know, then you're really out to get something. The idea is just to hopefully, if you're inspired or you think of something that you want to share with other people, then you play it and people get off on it. And having a friendship amongst the 4 and then doing it together, it's great.
Now, when you're up there playing on stage, you know, when you look over and you see your brother, and this question I want both of you to answer, when you look and see your brother up there with you, how does that make you feel, or what do you think?
Very, very strong vibe.
I don't think about it. To me, it's a given. It's a
Oh,
given.
well, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that...
Tim said the same thing, but no, that's not right.
No, what I'm saying is that if I'm on stage and I turn around and I don't see Al, there's a problem. I can't play with another drummer, to tell you the truth. I really can't. We're definitely connected.
Because you guys have a rhythm that nobody else can have.
Well, that's
Together.
kind of,
Not
that's
too
kind
bad
of
for a couple
unusual,
white boys, huh?
You know what's unusual about this band is most of the times when you refer to the rhythm section, it's the bass and the drums. With us, it's usually, or it is, guitar and drums. And the bass kind of lays a foundation. You know, it's more like a basement, so to speak.
Coming up next on Extreme Close Up, check to see